Here's a friend of mine, a fantastic comedian. We're going to move Ray Docks out and we're going to move Lloyd Hollett in. Lloyd Hollett, ladies and gentlemen. Lloyd Hollett, let's hear it. The first time I met you, Lloyd, it was, I'd written a play called Stand Up and Be Counted, and I wanted someone to play a gay comedian.
Yes.
And Chris Davis said, I know just the bloke.
Yeah.
And you turned up, didn't you, to meet me? And I didn't even ask you to read anything. As soon as I saw you, I said, you got the part.
Well, no, it weren't quite like that. I was sent an email the night before of a monologue from the play, and he said, learn that and do the audition tomorrow. I'm like, where is it, in London? He said, no, it's in a pub in Hampshire. I learnt the script, I learnt the page. I was up till 4 in the morning, I'm shitting myself, and I drive down there, and I get in there, and you're there with Dave Lee was there, and Matt Blaze, a great comic, and you looked at me and you went, right, you here for the audition? I went, yeah. You went, I'll tell you if you're any good or not, let's go out the back. And we went out the back of this pub garden, there's kids on the swing, and you sat down on a bench.
It was the free cups, the pub was the free cups.
Yeah. You sat down, and I'm cacking myself, and I started the script, and I looked you in the eyes, and I started the monologue, and I went, so it's with great, and you went, actually, you've got the part, you're a nice bloke, let's go and have a pint.
That was it.
Went back in, and you said to me that you were going to give me the part on Dave Lee's recommendation anyway. You just wanted to wind me up.
Yeah, I did a bit, and it just proved I was right as well, because the play was a complete fucking flop.
Stand up and be cancelled, as we called it.
Is that what they call it?
That's what I called it.
Stand up and be cancelled. Talking of being cancelled, you're one of the few comedians still working, aren't you? You're actually doing gigs.
Well, very lucky, really lucky. I mean, I lost all my cruises. That was the main bulk
you did
of my
the
work.
ships?
Did the ships, yeah.
So what's happened to them? Tell us about what...
Well, ships need to dock.
Did they phone you and say, excuse me, that's it?
Well, the tough thing is, whereas a lot of people lost like a year of work in one lump, we were losing it month at a time. That was quite tough. It was kind of teasing you. You know, you'd think, oh, I'm going to work in August, and then the 1st of August the phone would ring, so no, the cruises are cancelled this month. And it's such a shame, because cruises need to dock in a different port every day, and if with lockdown, you know, ships can't dock. That's the tough thing.
I've never done a ship. How does it work as a comic on a ship? I know they've got these fantastic theatres.
Yeah.
So you fly out to where it is, and what?
You join the ship, and sometimes you're told you're on that night, which can be tough if you've, you know, travelled.
They give you a cabin and everything, like the punters get.
You've got full passenger status, and it's really good. Sometimes you're there for 4 days, sometimes it can be a week or 2 weeks, depending on the cruise. Sometimes it's 2 separate shows, but the trouble, when I started out on the ships years ago, I was flown out to a ship, and I was at the end of a world cruise. And by the time I went on stage, I was the last comedian. They'd have like 4 comedians every week. And by the time I'd gone on, every gag and bid done. So I literally died a death, and they said, we're not having him again.
Those bastards were doing your act?
They were doing my act, doing Davro's act. I thought, bastards. So,
it's the same thing, isn't it? You and Davro's, I'm getting that. You're both doing my act.
Yeah. But the good thing with that, it's a good training ground, because it makes you realise, OK, well, I can't do the standards, I can't do the gags that I've just heard and I've learnt, because I remember you saying you've got to start from somewhere. You just nick everyone's act, and then over the years you add and develop. But it makes you change your act. I eventually decided to find a style, and then...
well, you've certainly got a style now. How old was you when you started this?
The wordplay?
No, when you started being a comic.
Oh, I think when I was born a comic, I was impersonating the teachers at school and getting away with a load of jokes. Yeah. I used to love Russ Abbott. Yeah. You know, watching him on a Friday night, or you on the Generation Game, that proper variety, which is great. This show is amazing. I watch it, and it's like watching Des O'Connor tonight. You're a great chat show host.
I am. Anyway, all right, fuck off. Isn't it nice? Wouldn't it be nice to hear Des O'Connor say that? So you missed all those chat shows. You never did the Des O'Connors and the so-and-so.
I went to a holiday park when I was 19. I literally threw in at the deep end, and it was either sink or swim, and I was there for 4 years. And it was like your red coat or your butlins. It was the training for me, having a different audience every night, trying 5-10 minutes here and there. And
a constant struggle to try and find your own niche type thing, wasn't it? Your own style.
They generally say, I've heard, that you find your niche in your 40s. I'm 40 this year, and I found my niche a couple of years ago with the wordplay, which had always been there, but it kind of gives you a style.
Jimmy Tarbuck said to me once, he said, you're not a comedian, you're just a cheeky personality, you won't be a comedian till you're 40.
Really?
He did say that, and I said, you ain't just 40, are you? It was that long ago, dear Jimmy. I never got on with Jimmy. I do now. As you get older, all things seem to drop in place as you get older. And every day's a good day.
What if this is as good as it gets?
What if this is as good as it gets? Now, you work with me quite a lot. You go and people love you. You were the favourite guest star. Julie, who writes in all the time, one of the two girls that come and visit us.
Oh, yes.
No, not like that. They always say, "Oh, I quite like you." Didn't like John Maloney. I didn't like him. He was a bit lefty. They like you. They like you.
Oh, bless.
And how did this word stuff go? I mean, you do lots of...
Yeah, I'd always started off with doing wordplay. Since I was a little boy, I had a weird memory bank for learning a lot of weird nonsense, and it just would all sink in. And my agent said to me a few years ago, just put it all together and take out the stuff that in between, and it seemed to work. And but the great thing is with the English language, there's such a flurry of words. I mean, an Englishman, a Scotsman, an Irishman, a Welshman, a Gurkha, a Latvian, a Turk, and an Aussie, a German, a Yank, an Egyptian, a Jap, a Mexican, a Spaniard, a Russian, a Pole, a Lithuanian, a Jordanian, a Kiwi, and a Swiss, a Finn, a Canadian, a Romanian, a Bulgarian, a Jew, a Muslim, a Buddha, and a Hindu all went into a nightclub. No, wait for it.
Wait for it, go on.
And the bouncer said, "You can't come in without a tie." See?
Oh, hang on, Bobby, you can do a tie. And what lives in the trees in Thailand?
What lives in... I don't know this one.
Is it squirrel?
Oh, let's kill it a little.
I give him the perfect feed and he fucks it up.
I would have got the guy skinning it anyway.
But, you know, Darren said you're the greatest director, and like 13 tours I've done with you, can you believe? I've added it up. And you're the most generous performer.
What does that mean?
I'll tell you what it
People
means.
say that to me.
No, I'll tell you what it means. It's an example.
Could I say to you, go on and do what you fucking want?
No, well, yeah, exactly.
Say what you want, do what you want. Just let me know so I don't say the same thing.
Exactly that. 500 cruises I've done, and worked with so many comics that worry about what you're going to do, what don't mention divorce, don't mention fishes and all that. And Real Pavilion was the first one I did, and I remember saying, "Is there anything you don't want me to do?" And you just said, "Do what you want. If you do anything I do, I just won't do it." And I thought, you know, what a nice guy. There's no ego there.
Yeah, Lenny Peters said to me once, always have a good support act. You don't want to go and follow shit. You want, you know, it makes you feel better. Because seeing you get standing ovations in the first half, and as well with Bobby, whenever I work with Bobby, I turn all the things off in the dressing room, let the taps run so I don't hear him, I don't hear the huge applause he gets, because I sit there and fucking shit myself. But I know I've got to go on and give a performance after that.
Well, I remember Eastbourne, the Congress we did one year, and you remember you used to do you'd finish, say goodnight, you'd go off, and your encore was the Mr. Men routine.
Yeah.
You come on with a big red book.
Yeah.
And I'd always put it in the wings for you with your whiskey and a little glass of water. And then one night I did my first half, and it was one of those acts that I'd done. I wish I'd filmed it because it was such a good audience. And I finished on my 100 sitcom routine and went down so well. And you started your act, you're in the wings, with your red book. And I'm like, why are you starting with your encore? And you went down so well, I've had to up my fucking game. I'm starting with my encore.
I got a habit of doing the encores first in case I never got one. People do it, they call false tabs. They say, thanks very much and good night. Thank you, good night. And they go and wait in the wings.
Yeah.
People say more and they come back on. I've been left in the fucking wings so often. Tommy Cooper used to do about 8 encores.
Yeah.
He used to say, after 20 minutes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And he'd go off and people think it's a joke. But he had someone in the wings puffing a cigar to keep that going. And he had wine, tea, scotch, brandy and 2 aspirin.
Yeah.
So every time he went off, he'd, thank you very much.
Not many like him anymore.
No, thank God. So... this wordplay, does it just come to you? So you've got to write it as well, have you? What's your favourite bit of wordplay you can tell us about?
Well, this is my 30th year in show business.
Really?
Yeah, what a year to
You're
pick.
only 12, right?
No. The very first show I ever did was Oliver Twist, the musical. And so I thought I'd write the story, tell it back to front. Or frack to brunt. Yeah? So,
go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So if you're sitting comfortable, Jadies and gentlemen.
Where's his camera there?
Guys and Bells, Dim Davidson. This is the story of Twelliver Ist by Dull's Chickens. A long time ago in the Lart of Hunden lived a beautiful bittle loy called Twelliver Ist. One day Twelliver was peeling very veckish and was breating his breakfast. So he decided to ask Mr. Mumble for some foremood. Please, sir, I want some war. What? Please, sir, I want some more. What? Mr. Mumble was looking vivid. I thought he was paking the tiss. So he bicked him in the colics where he fell tars over its down the desk. Poor Twaliver. He was now on the streets of London with no honey, no mome, and no pit to poss in. It was then that Twaliver bumped into his new friends, Dagan and the fart for lodger. Dagan was a conniving little kit who used to rob from the rich and pill from the store, who spent his days and nights nicking his pose while selling a lack of pucking thighs. Dagan was very good at magic, and one day he decided to teach Twaliver a tragic mick. Hiss and lay, Twaliver, hiss and lay, kick a pard. He said, kick a pard as he produced a cack of pards. You've got to kick a pard or two. Twaliver kicked a pard. Tell me, my boy, I predict. Is your card the Clive of Fubs? No, sir. The door of Fireman's? No, sir. The hen of Tarts? No, sir. The dicks of Simons? No, sir. Croesus jucking feist, said Dagan. What the haddy blell is it? He said it's the whore of farts. Just then, Silbucks, those are the bog bursting. Silbucks was a very mad band with very mad banners who happened to be nagging a shanty. He just returned from the pub, he was fisters apart. Oh no, Sir Chancy's under the affluence of Incahoe again. No, I'm not. I'm as jober as a sudge. I've only had 14 fights ahead of some produsted renuts and the scragabachins. Twaliver, tonight I want you to break into a house and I want you to climb in through the fat clap. Cat flap. Yeah. And I want you to fetch me a keg of bold goins, but don't get caught, or the fit'll hit the shan. Twaliver was so scared he started pitting his shants and he done out the roar. Bum cack, said Shancy, bum cack. Come back. Shut your face, you billy shit, said Bikes, and he dabbed her to stiff with a nitching knife. She was dead as a dare post. The police found out there was a cucking calamity. So they bought him in the sholocks. And they all lived happily ever after, the end.
Oh, wow. Lloyd Hollett there, what a cunny funt. Smashing. Lloyd Hollett.